everybody. Today I thought we'd start by doing equations. I'm going to start right from the beginning. An equation is like a seesaw. It always has to be balanced. If we move something from one side, then the other side will go up. But we don't want that. We want it always to stay balanced. So we're going to do everything we can to keep our equation as balanced as possible. Let me teach you the rules that I teach my students that will always work for any equation that comes your way. Rule number 1, always get rid of the fraction first, which means that we want to multiply first to get rid of the denominator, the fraction. The second thing we want to always do is to expand and simplify any brackets that might be there. Number 3, we want to add or subtract to move things around so that we end up with all the letters on the left and all the numbers on the right, because that's what makes it the easiest way to solve it. And lucky last, always divide last. Let's see how we can do that. Here is our balance. The equal sign goes in the middle, and that's what we're balancing everything around. You have the left-hand side of your equation, the right-hand side of your equation. There will always be a left-hand side, an equal sign, and a right-hand side. When you want to move something from one side to the other, there are certain rules that we have to follow. Otherwise, you don't get the correct answer. When you want to move something from one side to the other on an equation, you have to always do the opposite. Let's just quickly write down what all the opposites are. The opposite of plus is minus. The opposite of minus is plus. The opposite of times is divide. And the opposite of divide is times. When we solve an equation, we always want to have letters on the left and numbers on the right. You don't have to do it in that order, but it's always good to have a method of how to work it out. And then as you get better, you can change it around and swap things if you decide that you're good enough. If we have a look at this equation, we have a letter. He's happy there because he's on the left. Then we have a number. He's not happy there because he's on the left. And the number over here, he's happy because he's on the right. So the first thing we need to do is to move the plus 2 to the other side, because we need to move the number from the left to the right to have the equation the way we want it. If we want to move the plus 2 from the left-hand side of our equation to the right-hand side of the equation, remember we always need to do the opposite. So at the moment, this 2 is a plus 2. Remember that the sign always goes with the number after it. So the opposite of plus is minus. So we need to minus 2 from both sides. Remember, whatever we do to one side of the equation, we have to do to the other side of the equation to keep everything balanced. So we're going to minus 2 from both sides. And what are we going to be left with? That's now gone because we've taken that off the left-hand side of the equation. And you're left with x equals 7. Of course, we could have done this question in our head. But remember, when the questions get more difficult, we want to have a way to work them out so that we can still do them, doesn't matter how difficult they get. That's number 1. Let's have a look at number 2. X minus 4 equals 11. In the same way, let's have a look. We're going to say x is happy over there. The minus 4 is not happy because he's a number and he's on the left. And 11 is happy because he's on the right. We need to move the minus 4. To get rid of a minus 4, we come over here and look at our opposites. The opposite of a minus is a plus. So we're going to plus 4 to both sides. They disappear because that was the whole point of adding 4. And we're left with the x stays there, and 11 plus 4 is 15. Let's move on to a third question. So over here we have a slightly different question. We have a divide. You have y divided by 4 equals 6. The y is happy, the 4 is not happy, and the 6 is happy because he's on the right. And what we have to do is we need to now move the 4 from the left to the right. So we need to think about, what is the 4 actually doing? We've got y divided by 4. Again, what was the opposite of divide? Opposite of divide is times. So we need to times both sides by 4. I like to write the times on the top so that I don't forget what I'm doing. They cancel because that was the whole point of doing it. And what am I left with? The y is now on its own, and 6 times 4 is 24. Let's have a look at another one. A little bit more difficult. we have x plus 1 all over 2 equals 3. I'm going to get rid of the divided by 2 first. So to get rid of divided by 2, I need to times by 2. They cancel. And then, of course, I write down what's left. X plus 1 equals 3 times 2 is 6. This now becomes just like question number 1 and 2. I need to get rid of the plus 1. And the opposite of plus 1 is minus 1. So I minus 1 from both sides. And I'm left with x equals 5. Now the only type of question we haven't done is one involving a multiplication. So let's have a look at those. Number 5 will be 4x equals 16. At the moment, I have 4 times x equals 16. And the x is multiplied by the 4. So to get rid of the 4, I need to divide. Remember our opposites. The opposite of times is divide. The easiest way to do divide is to use a fraction line. They cancel, and you're left with x equals 4. Of course, we're going to do a lot more examples so that you get the hang of it, and you can see all the different types of questions that you're going to get asked, and then you'll be 100% sure of what to do, and you can start to get them right. Now I want to show you how to use everything all together. I'll write some questions on the board and I will show them to you, and then I'd like to give you 5 or 6 questions to do, so make sure you have a paper and pen ready to go. Let's start with something nice and easy. X minus 3 equals 7. Remember about our opposites. We need to get rid of the minus 3 because he's a letter on the left, and we need to move him to the right. So we need to do the opposite. The opposite of minus 3 is plus 3. So we're going to add 3 to both sides. There you go. And we're left with x equals 7 plus 3, which is 10. Next one, x plus 4 equals 12. We need to get rid of the plus 4 because he's in the wrong place. We need to minus 4 because the opposite of plus is minus. So we're going to minus 4 from both sides. They cancel, and we're left with x equals 8. Last one on this column, x divided by 4 equals 5. Remember on our rules, you always need to get rid of a fraction first. So we have to multiply by 4 first. Get rid of that, and of course we're left with now x equals 20. Hopefully everybody got those. They were quite easy. So now let's get a little bit more difficult. Question number 4. X plus 3 all over 5 equals 2. Of course, step number 1 says always get rid of the fraction first. So to get rid of the fraction, we have to multiply by the denominator, which is 5. They cancel, which was the whole point of doing it, to get rid of the 5. And then we write down whatever's left. X plus 3, don't forget to multiply. 2 times 5 is 10. Now hopefully this becomes like number 1, which was the easiest ones. And to get rid of the plus 3, we minus 3. They go. And we're left with x equals 7. If you have a look at number 5, it's a little bit more difficult because we're putting everything together. Now it might be a little bit tricky at the beginning, but you will get the hang of it. Just stick with it. So the first thing we got to do, remember our rules. The first thing we do is to get rid of the denominator. Always get rid of the fraction. To do that, we need to get rid of the 3. To get rid of the divided by 3, we need to times both sides by 3. They cancel. That was the whole point of doing it. And then we just write down whatever's left. So you're left with 2x plus 9. Remember the 3 is now gone. Don't forget to cancel it. Always cancel it. Don't get lazy. And of course 5 times 3 is 15. But sometimes people forget to multiply the right hand side. Of course now, what do? Step number 2 is to get rid of any brackets and simplify, but I don't have any brackets to simplify. So I now need to plus or minus the numbers. I have to get rid of the plus 9, so I'm going to minus 9 from both sides. They go. What's left? The 2x stays there on the left, equals 15 take away 9, which is hopefully everybody gets 6. And then my last step, always to divide by whatever's in front of the x to get rid of the 2. And we remember how to do that. We go over 2 over 2, and they cancel, and we're left with x equals 3. Did you all get that? I hope so. Here's one for you. I'm not going to rub the board so that you can look at it if you need some help. Maybe just pause the video for a minute while you have a look. 3x plus 4 equals 10. Have a go at it on your own. If you're having trouble, then just keep watching, but have a go. Step number 1 in our rules says that we need to always get rid of our fraction first. We don't have any fractions, so we can move on to step number 2. Step number 2 says expand any brackets. We also don't have any brackets, so we're really lucky. We've only really got steps number 3 and 4 to worry about. Step number 3 says plus or minus any numbers that are in the wrong place. Remember, we want letters on the left and numbers on the right. So we don't want this plus 4. So we need to minus 4 from both sides. There you go, and I'm left with 3x equals 10 take away 4 is 6. If you got that, good on you. Step number 4 is divide by the number in front of the x. Get rid of the time sign, and then I'm left with x equals 2. Remember, to get rid of the 3, I need to divide both sides by 3. I hope you got that one right. Let's try another one. Again, pause the video for a second, have a go at it on your own, and see if you can get the right answer. Step number 1 is get rid of the fraction first. Of course, I don't have any fractions, so I can move to step number 2. Expand any brackets and simplify. Again, I don't have any brackets, so I don't need to simplify. Step number 3, move any letters or numbers in the wrong spot. Remember, don't try to get rid of this 2 first, because to get rid of that 2, I would need to divide. And what was now step number 4? Always divide last. So I need to get rid of the 5 first. And I need to do the opposite of plus 5, which is minus 5. 9 minus 5 is 4. Then I need to get rid of my 2 last, which is divide by 2. And I'm left with x equals 2. Great job if you got it out. Fantastic. Here are the 6 questions that I want you to have a go with on your own. Either pause the video or just stop it for a moment while you give them all a go on your own first, and then you can look at the solutions that I'll post after. X plus 4 equals 15. Remember all the rules. We want letters on the left, numbers on the right. We're going to get rid of the minus 4 first, or the plus 4 first. We need to minus 4 from both sides, and you're left with x equals 11. Did you get it right? Good job. X minus 7 equals 8. We need to move the minus 7 to the other side. We need to add 7 to both sides. Remember our opposites. Opposite of minus is plus. And we're left with x equals 15. Number 3. 2x plus 1 equals 15. I hope you didn't divide by 2 first, because that's one of our 4th rule, is to always divide last. So we need to minus 1 first to get rid of the number. You're left with 2x equals 14, and then we divide by 2. X equals 7. Did you get it right? Good on you. Here we have a divide by 4. Hopefully you remembered that you need to get rid of the divide by 4 first. So we times by 4, and we're left with x plus 1 equals 4 times 2 is 8. Who forgot to times the 4 by 2? I hope it wasn't you. And then we minus 1 from both sides. I hope you all got x equals 7. Number 5 and 6 were more difficult because we had to use all the rules that we know. First we multiply by 3. Always get rid of the fraction first. Write down what's left. 2x plus 3 equals 3 times 3 is 9. Minus 3 from both sides. Write down what's left. 2x equals 6. And lucky last, divide by 2. Thanks for watching my video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to subscribe and you'll know when the next one comes out. If you're having trouble with any of your work and you'd like me to do a video specifically for you on a topic that you've got coming up for a test, this is my email address, heidipostel@gmail.com.